D fam, welcome back to the greatest Houston-based podcast in the world, the Weekly D Podcast. I'm your host, Danny G, and tonight we got a very special guest, curator, creator, founder of Latinx Hip Hop himself, Mr. Illinois.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I've been doing good, man.
Yeah,
A lot of tournaments, like we were saying earlier.
bro, yeah. So let's get right into it, man. So
Let's do it.
you run Latinx Hip Hop, which is a blog page as well as a podcast, right? Or
Uh,
YouTube channel.
I mean, I got a couple interviews. I wouldn't say podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But we've done a couple interviews on there. But that's, you know,
It's more of a blog page, right? Music blog
yeah,
page.
more just like a place to find new music. I like to say.
Yeah, I love that. That's perfectly said. But yeah, right before we started, we were talking about you're doing these tournaments. That's I think is one of the greatest ways to get exposure for artists, and it's dope because you get your whole community
Yeah.
tapping into it and voting on it. But you just did the producer one, right?
Yeah.
Previous to that, you did the rapper one.
Yeah.
How were those two tournaments? Like, how was it for you on your end to hold that and come up with it?
Man, so I don't know how long you've been following me, but I started doing that. The tournaments, the first time I tried doing it was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like I kind of let it be a mix. It was just artists. You could be a singer, you can be a reggaeton artist, a rapper, and you can get involved. But this time I got a little more strict. I just wanted rappers only, producers only, and I'm gonna do one more where it's just singers only, or at least artists who just do singing on some songs. And yeah, so I started doing that, and then man, it's just it's fun, it's
Yeah.
to get the artists some exposure, and it lets me get to know some of these artists and producers and see what they got, and allows other people to see what they got going on.
Yeah, no, it's super dope. I didn't catch the year before. This year was the first time I actually like paid attention to the tournament.
Hmm.
Just because the first time I saw it, kind of like went over my head. I didn't even understand what you were doing until this year. I was really paying attention to it, and I was like, damn, like you got some dope ass artists too. It's not like any like low hitters. These guys are big
Yeah.
heavy hitters, and they're doing their thing, and it's fucking dope. I mean, the Rincon won
Uh-huh.
the rapper one, which is super dope. I loved how you were doing like every day different verses, pretty much. Like, how'd you come up with that idea?
So it's a mix. As well, obviously, I guess you could say this is kind of one of the influences because of the bracket. If you ever watch a Dragon Ball, they have the whole tournament, and then of course involve it with hip hop, with verses where they would play songs versus songs. So that's how I wanted it. I told
Mhm.
every artist, I told them, you play one song, we're only gonna play 60 seconds. That's the most that it'll let me do it on the post,
Mhm.
and let you find a new fan, or maybe just a random stranger just be like, man, that was probably one of the best songs I heard, and
Mhm.
they'll vote for him. But of course, they get their people and get them involved, and hey, that kind of shows you how strong your fan base is as well.
Yeah, it definitely shows how some of them have some pull, and they can
Yeah.
get their peoples involved, which is dope. I mean, I love that you're doing that, and then you also do like an end of the year awards as well,
Yeah.
which is fucking dope. You started that 2 years ago as well, right? Or was it
Yes,
3 years
because
ago?
so 2023, I mean, that was the second time doing it. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's 2 years. Um, yeah, man, it was just I don't know. I think I mentioned this before in the past. So I get a lot of my influences, inspiration from like things that I've seen like on MTV, BET,
Mhm.
Fuse, all that back in the day.
Hell yeah, man.
How they would get creative. Like, um, sometimes I want to do something like some TRL stuff.
Mhm.
But for it to be a daily thing might be a little hard. Maybe do something bi-weekly. I don't know. But they have award shows, and
Mhm.
just that was kind of that where I got the idea from.
Yeah. No, that was super dope though, because it brought a community together.
Mm-hmm.
The first year you did it, that's actually how we heard of you. Was
Oh,
our
okay.
homeboy Gammy Gons and Chelsea. They were both nominated,
Yeah.
and they told us, they're like, dude, check this out. Like, this is really cool. they're like, vote for us, and then they nominated us for the
Mhm.
podcast portion. And like ever since then, like we started following you because like to be honest, like we wanted to win it, but
Mhm.
we were like, it doesn't really matter if we win it. It's just dope that we even got included in this.
Yeah.
And like I started following you out of curiosity of how your community works and how like everyone moves around and then you started posting all these tournaments and all these different things. And I was like, damn, like this guy knows how to move people and get them to, click on the damn post and vote. And I found it super impressive. And then I mean, your content is just new music. You're constantly on top of it. How do you manage to stay on top of everything? Because like every time I look at your page, just some new music, some new track, and some of them are like, damn, I haven't even heard of these people, but you're on it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because there's been some times where, like, okay, so during this tournament, there were some songs that I heard some artists release at the time, and just because I had the tournament, I was so busy with it, so I
Hmm.
was like, damn, I could have posted that at the time because that was a good song. I mean, I might post it again, or unless they reach out.
Hmm.
Um, there's you'd be surprised on how many artists are out there that just make real good music.
Hmm.
And I tell a lot of people, I'm like, me being here, staying in Houston, I just knew, like, as Latinos, it's just like SPM, Dope House, and then you kind of hear a little bit what hit the radio, Fat Joe and Baby
Hmm.
Bash, and can't think of nobody else, but
I mean, Chingo Bling, even though he wasn't
Jingle
like
Bling.
a hard rapper, I mean, he still blew up.
Yeah, so that's kind of all I thought there was, and then you get online and you start to really do your homework, look around, and then even some things just, appear on the screen. Like there's
Hmm.
some artists, I tell them pay for ads because I think that really works. And
Hmm.
there's been some artists that come up as an ad. And I'm like, damn, that was hard. And, I start
Yeah.
following them. And, I think that's how I met, there was an artist who got in the tournament, Big J CSB. He was in
Hmm.
the tournament and I found him through one of those ads.
Really?
So
Damn.
yeah.
Damn. See, I'm so curious what your algorithm looks like because, like I said, you're on top of everything, dude. Every time there's a new song, I don't even bother like looking at Spotify what's new or like doing my own research. I just go to Latinx Hip Hop. I'm
Hey,
like,
I'm happy that you said that though. That makes me, I like
no,
that it's a place for discovery.
yeah, no, it's a huge place for discovery, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, I watch these tournaments, I'm like, all right, who's from Houston? Like,
Yeah.
who are these people? Let me find out. Let me figure out how I can contact them. Because I mean, it's like I told you before we started the podcast. Like we're very much like the past year and a half as we've been pivoting into a for Houston by Houston podcast,
Mhm.
where our goal is to showcase Houstonian artists, rappers, singers, musicians, businesses, vloggers, comedians. We've had some comedians on here that were super dope. And
Mm.
like our whole goal is to just showcase like the up and coming of Houston, right? Because there's so
Gotcha.
much talented people out here. So many people that are doing like big, great things that just need a little bit of more eyes on them. And I
Yeah.
always tell them like if we can shed a couple more eyes on you, it may not make a difference. It may make a huge difference because the right person might just stumble upon it and
Yeah,
you
that's
know
true.
and then that's where it goes from. And I mean, we try to post often, like we
Mhm.
try to keep up with you. We try to post often, we try to post 3 times a week or 3 times a day at least, and just posting like clips and different artist things. But I'm super impressed with how you run your page and like how often you
Thank you.
post and how you're just so up to date on shit.
I
Like
appreciate that.
it just blows my mind, and I love that your roots are like in old school hip hop, Dragon Ball Z, anime. Like you're Latino as fuck, and that's pretty
Yeah.
fucking dope. So, are you like first gen Latino or are you
Uh,
second gen?
yes. Yes, both my parents came from Mexico. They were born
Okay,
in Mexico.
that's what's up, man. My parents too. Like I love that doing this podcast. I've met so many more first gen Latinos
Mhm.
because like the stories and the shit we have all gone through is hilarious and yet such a rite of passage for so many of us.
Yeah.
Like, was Spanish your first language or was English your first language?
Man, it was Spanish, but man, I feel like I forgot it quickly because I think my mom wanted me to learn English, pick it up quick,
Hmm.
and so I think by the time I got into kindergarten, I felt like I completely forgot Spanish, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh, so you were never traumatized with having to translate for them?
Nah, nah, they were pretty good. Which is, you know what's crazy? So, my grandma was actually born here in the States, but I don't really know the history, but I know she went back and she had my mom in Mexico. So I don't know if I guess you could you still count that as me as
Yeah,
first gen?
I mean, you're still first gen. She was born in Mexico and then came this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, but I know my mom was the one that was raised here in the States more than my dad, from what I
yeah.
understand.
Okay. Now it's funny because so we had a guest. His name's Jesse Saldana,
Mhm.
super funny comic from Houston. He just went out to Austin, and I asked him the question. He's like, "Man, I fucking hated having to translate for my parents." Cause like I was traumatized by that shit. My
Mhm.
dad would yell at me, "¿Pa qué chingados vas a la escuela si no vas a saber cómo hablar?" And I'm like, "Fuck, you're giving a 6-year old a legal document to translate. I don't know all
Yeah.
the fucking words." But no, that's dope. So are you Houston raised?
Yes. Well, I guess you could say I tell this to a lot of people. So I stay in Humble, and I know there's always that argument where it's like Humble's not Houston. So I guess you could say I was Humble raised.
No, you're Greater Houston, bro.
So I don't know. There's always that argument with somebody, so I don't even try to fight them anymore.
No, man. 45 minutes out of Houston is still Houston. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, come on. That Mexican OT reps Houston, and he's from Beaumont.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shoot, you're right, huh?
nah, don't let no one take your Houstonian card like that.
They be trying.
Let me trying for room. So, talking about like Latinx hip hop, what inspired you to do mostly Latinx artists?
Well, really, I mean, to begin with, the title Latinx Hip Hop, it was really gonna be like Latino hip hop, Latin
Hmm.
hip hop, but I noticed that the tag was already taken because that's what I was looking for at first. I was
Okay.
going on Instagram and I was trying to see what tags were taken, and so I noticed that the term Latinx is kind of more like a modern title, and I know there's some people that have an argument with it. I didn't have a problem with it. I don't. I mean, like I said, it was a more of a modern title, and so that's kind of what I ran with.
I mean that makes sense. I've never understood the issue with Latinx,
Hmm.
the Latine or Latina, whatever they're changing it to. That's a
Yeah,
little much.
yeah. You know what's funny? Like, even though I felt like sometimes it's only internet hate because I haven't had no problem with
Mhm.
nobody in person, and I mean, there's people that are reaching out to be on the page, and it's like, okay, so who really has a problem, But
Right.
I don't know.
I honestly don't think people have a problem with it. And the people that do, they're not even probably Latino
Yeah.
or any of that, right? Because I mean, we see that a lot with like Latin hate, right? Most Latin
Hmm.
hate isn't even based around Latin ideals. It's all people that get offended for us.
Yeah.
No,
It's
but that's super dope. You growing up, what kind of music did you listen to besides hip hop?
Man, you know what's crazy? I didn't even start with hip hop. That's the crazy thing. So like my parents didn't put me on to music.
Mhm.
I didn't get it from my parents. I actually got it from my uncle
Uh-huh.
who he put me on to like Linkin Park, POD,
Okay.
um those type of bands, Corn,
Hmm.
um can't think of any more. So that's the kind of bands he put me on. And so like around middle school time, there was a group of skater guys in my school, and they saw what I was listening to, and then they put me on to what they were listening to, which was like some of the emo rock music, the
Yeah.
Youth, Childos, 30 Seconds to Mars, My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what was going on with MTV, when they were showing all that,
Yeah.
AFI. So I was on that. And it wasn't until maybe like eighth grade, going into ninth grade, is when I got into hip hop. At that time, for me, I think hip hop was just like dancing music. So it still didn't really catch my attention until my cousin put me on to Lil Wayne specifically. So he put me on to Lil Wayne. I was like, damn, this is hard. and like he
Mhm.
explained to me the lyrics and everything. He broke it down. I'm like, damn, that's crazy because I'm so used to like, you know, snap your fingers or lean with it, back with it, whatever. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm used to the dance and stuff.
Yeah.
So he puts me onto that kind of music with Lil Wayne. He put me onto some Zero SPM,
Okay.
and and then from there, I think about my 10th grade, 11th grade year, man, I kind of took a dove myself. Like
Mhm.
looked into Common, Biggie,
Okay.
the older stuff, and
Mhm.
really got to find my type of hip hop that I personally enjoyed. And so now I'm kind of just growing with whatever hip hop has. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
bad stuff, there's some good stuff, but right now, to me personally, I guess mainly because it's my main focus, I prefer the underground stuff than the mainstream
Mainstream.
media.
Yeah.
So,
No, I've always hip hop wise, I've always preferred the underground stuff more.
mm,
Myself, like I grew up in California.
mm,
I moved here when I started high school, and just completely adopted Texas. Like I was like, I'm from Texas now. Like I'm Houston all the way. I adopted everything. I fell in love with Texas, fell in love with the music, with people, and just the way of life here. But I grew up listening like to a lot of New York hip hop, a lot of old grimy, Nas, MF Doom, KRS
mhm,
One, like that. That was my shit, and like I prefer that grimy sound
mhm.
to this day over like modern mainstream hip hop. So
Yeah,
like I always chase the underground stuff because that's where you still get that
yeah,
sound, the unperfected, overproduced sound, which
yeah.
is that's my personal favorite.
Hey, there's some guy. I don't know how good your ear is to the city of Houston, but with the underground, I mean, you should have seen some of the people I posted.
Hmm.
There's some of the guys you might like from what you just told me. Chop the Father, AB Raps, Carlos
Hmm.
Slim, Mike Garza, DFD Baby Lee. If you haven't heard them, that somebody you should, some of the
No,
guys you should check out.
I've definitely checked out all of them just because
Oh
of
yeah.
your page. Yeah,
Oh okay,
that's
that's
how I
dope.
found them. I just heard them on your page. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna add them to the playlist.
Oh damn, that's what's up.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, man, you're doing big and great things with that page, and like, I really, I guess my biggest question about the page is like, what made you want to do this blog? Because I mean, I'm sure you started with an idea, and you're just like, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah,
But like, what was really the driving factor to get it to where it is today?
man. So originally, growing up, I fell in love with music. I fell in love with hip hop,
Hmm.
and so you know, I never saw to begin with. I never saw too many, Latino Latin artists. You know, I think at the time because I started the page in 2020, I think,
Okay.
and so I think at the time the only people I really saw was like Snow the Product and
Hmm.
um, I know Crystal Poppin, GT Garza. You kind of only saw them.
Hmm.
And I was following them at first, and Bo Bundy, Peso Peso, and then I just started seeing more and more. Meeting some people from Houston, and I was like, man, this is dope. They're dope, and I feel like they really need. Well, we really need a platform like this, and that's what I told everybody from the jump. I feel like a platform like this was needed in
Hmm.
my personal opinion. And to begin with, I love it, man. I love it, and I think that's the reason why I keep doing this. I see comments. Some people have problems with the way that I run things, even though I know you say you enjoy them, like you like
Hmm.
the award show, you like the tournaments. But there's some people out there that really don't like the way that I do it.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, yeah, sometimes they knock me down. They're like, man, if you guys have a problem with it, it kind of make me not want to do it. But at the
Hmm.
same time, in the back of my head, I love this, so I want to keep going with it.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly said, man. I mean, honestly, like the internet's always full of haters, dude.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking haters on the internet. Like, with us even doing this podcast, we've had guests on here where people are just like, "Why the fuck would you have them on?" Or and it's like we're doing this because we enjoy
Yeah.
it, right? And we
Yeah.
hope that there's people out there that enjoy it as well. And I mean, it reflects. There's always someone that's gonna like your niche and like the way you do
Yeah.
things. There's always people that are gonna hate on what you do. I mean, the thing is, you do it for yourself, and
Yep.
people will get attracted to genuineness. At least
Mhm.
that's my belief, right? The more genuine you are to yourself, the more people tend to either really like you or really dislike you.
Yeah.
But you can't let the haters keep you down.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna be there to keep your name in their mouth. That's who you need is the people that talk
Yeah.
shit.
You don't even got to pay for ads on that one.
Right? It's for free. I honestly like it's frustrating sometimes when you create, especially as a creative, right? You create something and you're all excited about it, and then people start talking shit about it. And like at first, your first reaction is like, "Nah, fuck them," like this and that. But I love when people comment hate comments. Like I'll even comment back. I'll be like, "Oh, thanks for your comment," because
Yeah.
all that interaction is what pushes your content even further.
You know, there was a comment on one of the awards this year. There was one
Mhm.
that said something about, man, this was real disappointing. I didn't like the way it turned out. Uh, Something like that in that
Mhm.
sense. And a little bit of me wanted to say something, but I was like, man, I'm just gonna let it be. I should have maybe said something, but the homie Chop the Father said you should have told him, well, I'm hiring interns for next year, so you're more than welcome.
Right? No, that's hilarious. I mean, you gotta accept the hate, man. They're gonna
Yeah.
push you further than the people that love you. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
no, that's wild, man. So, are you close with Chop the Father, or
Yeah, Chop is one of the artists that man, he stays in contact with me
oh, shit,
quite a bit. Oh,
shit, my bad.
everything good?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. My bad.
Didn't spill the beer.
No, no, no.
Just kidding. Yeah, so there's actually a couple artists that I keep in touch with. Chop the
Mhm,
Father is one of them. Carlos Slim is one of them. AB Raps is another one.
mhm.
Um, Chicano Vega.
Okay.
Let me see who else. More talk to me more than others.
Mhm,
But those I had to say are kind of the main ones.
mhm.
So
But did you know them from the jump, or are they
the
people you met on the
so,
way?
so the only one I've known from the jump was Carlos Slim.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos Slim. Me and him, we knew each other from high school.
Oh, that's
So
what's up. Okay, that's badass. That's cool shit. That's how we know. See the Dawn. I actually went to high school with them. All right, hold on. I gotta pause this real quick.
oh, you're good, good,
I'm crazy. My bad. Little
good.
puppies still getting house trained.
Uh oh.
Getting used to the bigger dog. Back to what we were saying. That's how I know Sia the Dawn. I actually went to high school with them. I
Oh,
was a year
okay.
older than him, and we've been cool ever since. Like I knew him, but I didn't know him until after high school.
Hmm.
When he started rapping and taking rap a little bit more seriously, we kind of crossed paths again, and
Oh, okay.
we did podcasting together and stuff like that. He's super cool, dude. Super chill, super
Yeah.
talented too.
Nah, yeah, for sure. I know I've been following him for some time. I remember I saw him there was a song I first heard of him was Narcissistic.
Narcissist.
Narcissist?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's the first song I heard from him, and then yeah, I seen him. It looked like he was in the studio with Manny Fresh too. I was like, oh damn,
yeah,
that's big. So
yeah. He's done a couple things with Manny Fresh. I don't know if they've released, but I know he's done a couple things with them.
okay,
But yeah, no, he's super dope. But that's badass. Though. I see that. I'm telling you that's the beauty of being a creative in Houston. Is like you're gonna run into people you've known for a long time
yeah,
that just like loop back around, or there's people that you've been tight with from the jump, and it's just a beautiful thing to be a creative in Houston, man.
yeah.
I absolutely love it. So besides hip hop, have you ever thought about doing like another like or I guess going to other music as well with your
So
band?
there was at one point a thought about doing a separate page for Latinx rock,
Mm-hmm.
but I just at the time I was like, man, I don't know if there's enough rock bands to do that yet. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed on the page, I do allow other genres to get on.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, one of the main reasons I allow that is because, I feel like they might not even have a platform to turn to. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
I like to, put on talent, good music. And so I know there's some, pop singers like, Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
There's rock bands, a couple here and there. Um, R&B artists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think if I put a country artist on before.
I feel like you
Um,
have once.
Oh, I did. Fabian Velos. I hope I'm saying that right. That was one. He's from North Carolina. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, I don't mind getting into other genres. So, like I
Mhm.
said, I feel like there's not really a lot of other platforms out there for them. So, I mean, there
Mhm.
might be, but I've never seen them or heard of them.
Gotcha. No, I mean, it makes sense. Hip hop is the biggest one right now, but it's
Yeah.
crazy because if you talk to a lot of these, like especially the younger artists, like say the Don, Gammy Gons, artists from here in Houston, Corey Does It. Like a lot of them are kind of switching to a little bit of the alternate route.
Hmm.
And I've heard a couple other artists that are like thinking about going into like alternate music, and you never know, you might get a little bit of a switch there with
Yeah.
enough people doing alternate music.
Yeah. Hey, it's good to get creative though. That's for sure. Really good to
Yeah,
see your artistry.
yeah, no, for sure. that yeah, that's fucking awesome, dude. I'm so glad we got you on too. Like when I reached out to you, I was like, man, he's probably just gonna see this and brush it off.
And I mean, I tell everybody, I try to, you know, reply back to all my DMs. Man,
Mhm.
if I don't, I'm sorry. I wouldn't be surprised if there's one DM in there that's been in there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I try. I really do try.
Oh, that's dope, man. That's dope. I know. I bet you're a super busy guy too. I mean, again, we're talking about how much you post and the amount of content you put out. Like you've got to stay busy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it and not do it like full time because you do a lot. Do you have a
Yeah.
team behind you, or is it just you?
Nah, it's just me, man.
Damn.
Yeah, I know it's a bit surprising. I would like to have a team, but man, having to be like, I guess, depending on somebody to do something that's in your vision is
Mhm.
just hard to trust for me, you know?
Yeah. No, I got you. I got you. That's a really hard thing to do. And just in general, especially if you're used to being very hands on.
Mhm.
It's one of the things I've had to learn to do is kind of teach someone the vision I have
Yeah.
and then hope that they do at least 70% of what I hope.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's that idea, that you learn to delegate and, your 100% may not be someone else's 100%. But as long
Yeah.
as they can hit 70, like, you can live with it.
Almost there, almost there.
Almost there, yeah. No, that's super dope, man. So, besides hip hop, besides doing Latinx, like, what else do you do? Or what other content do you like to consume?
Well, I don't know if you follow me on every single social media platform I do have. Um, but I was kind of getting into the, being on camera and kind of like introducing the weekly singles or just, putting
Hmm.
on an artist that I like. I kind of did put a pause on that, but only because there was a little bit of a moving situation with myself. Um,
Gotcha.
I was doing that on TikTok and YouTube Shorts because I've been hearing a
Hmm.
lot about YouTube Shorts, and a little bit of
Bro,
me
they go
wants to,
crazy.
yeah. So I've talked about it before. I do wanna grow on YouTube, but
Hmm.
I know it's a lot of. I gotta figure out what kind of content I can do by myself because I know I can do interviews, but it's just so time
Hmm.
consuming as far as because I do the in person. I'll drive to their
Yeah,
house or if they have a place for me because I don't have a spot. If I had my own spot, like
it'd
a
be different.
facility, then man, I probably would have a whole podcast. And like you
Yeah.
were saying earlier, it's just interviews. But if I had my own spot, then I would have an actual whole podcast, and we'd make it fun. Get
Hmm.
something going. So, but as of right now, I got to try to figure out how to do solo content and just kind of
Hmm.
grow the YouTube.
Gotcha. And solo content, I feel like it's so hard sometimes. Because you have no instant feedback, or like
Yeah,
you don't know what's gonna work or what's not. You're just, it's hard to find timing and pacing too sometimes.
yeah.
Like I dabble in stand up here and there, and like I've also tried to do this podcast by myself, like just
Mhm.
by myself, have like talking points, and it
Uh,
feels so unnatural going from doing
yeah,
stand up where you get instant feedback to sitting in front of a camera and then like you get nothing. And you're just like,
Yeah.
and then you listen to it, and like me, I get so critical about it because I either go too fast, go too slow. I
Hmm.
just like that's difficult. So props to you for trying to do single
Yeah.
placer content.
So I don't know. Hopefully, I can bring that back. Maybe kind of do a at least a little 3 minute, 4 minute videos. Get something to talk about because I know
Mhm.
there's some topics that can be touched on, but I don't want to get too like gossip kind of deal. I kind of
Yeah.
want to stick to the music and being able to to shine light on specific artists that I'm really rocking with, and I feel like really deserve it.
Hmm. It would
So
be dope. Just random idea, but like doing like first time listenings
first
to
time listening,
to
man,
new
it's kind of
songs.
hard because I'm not gonna lie. I try to I try to listen to everybody, but I get what you're saying.
No, just
Um,
you pick a few random ones out the list and record it. First time reaction.
Yeah.
Honest reactions.
Ooh, I don't know if a lot of people are ready for honesty.
I don't know, man, but
I don't know.
I don't know, but I've always wanted to do that, like do artist reactions of music.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes I gotta listen to a song a couple times before I actually want to
Yeah.
react to it.
Yeah, see, that's another thing too. Is like, there's not a lot of songs where, you probably have to absorb it more than just the first time, and you don't want to sound like a hater for the first,
Yeah,
that first review, and then later on it ends up getting stuck in your head. You're driving down the road and you're singing whatever it was, and you're like, "Dang, I said it sucked," but really it was kind of
right.
good.
I just jam into it the next day, or you're in the gym, plays on your
Yeah,
headphones, and you're just like, "Damn, I fucked this one up."
yeah,
No, I feel that, man.
it's like that.
Yeah, no, that's dope though. So, I got a few rapid fire questions for you. We're kind of near the end of the interview.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
just answer to the best of your abilities. They're rapid fire. They're off the top of my head. Just
Uh-huh.
a few questions. I wanted to ask you, and then we'll move on to the final, where you get to shout out all your stuff. All right. All right.
Okay.
So first rapid question. Hot or cold?
Uh, hot.
Okay. Favorite season?
Spring.
Artist you're fucking with the most right now, music
Ooh,
wise.
oh, man, I feel like I got a little thing about it. Man, let me look at my Apple Music real quick. Let me see. Who was I even listening to today?
Or song that has surprised you that you weren't expecting.
Um, oh, this is totally random. I saw it on the Rap Radar. There's a song that I kind of been having on repeat called Lock and Key by Anela Hiram.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, it's a country song.
Really? I'll have to
Yeah.
go check it out. All right, but okay. Let's see. Who's your favorite rapper of all time?
Oh, Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, for sure.
Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne.
All right, what was your first Lil Wayne album you listened to?
Oh, Carter 3.
Heart of Three. Yes. I was like, yeah, three or four were my favorite ones.
Man, 304 is just that's on repeat. Like it's almost something that needs to be played like once a month for me because I go back to that album all the time.
Yeah, it's a classic, man.
Yeah.
All right, what does Latinx mean to you?
Oh, I guess you could say a place for great discovery of music.
Dope. That's a good one. I like that one. I like that one. All right, man. Well, this is the end of the interview. I just want to say thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you on. Super dope conversation. I
Thank
hope
you.
we get to have you on again, maybe sometime later in the year or next year, just to catch up and see what you've been
Yeah.
up to. We really appreciate it. You've been a great guest, and like I said, this is your time to shine. So go ahead, give everyone, let everyone know where they can find you, where they can stream your content, and all that fun stuff.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me. I know you can talk to a million other people, but you decided to hit me up. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so you can find me on Latinx Hip Hop, everything from TikTok, Threads, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I think that's about it right now. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, even though there's probably nothing on there new. Um, but yeah, for sure, give me a follow on all those other social media platforms. And for those that are new to following and just want to hear some new music from underground Latin artists, I promise you I won't disappoint. There's gonna be something you're gonna like on there. I promise you. I promise you. Like I said, I do dive into other genres every so often. So hey, you might find your new favorite pop artist, new favorite country singer, but for sure some good hip hop from a Latin artist. And man, I guess that's it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you so much again for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure. We're definitely gonna be keeping in touch with you and keeping tabs on the page.
For
You
sure.
know, we might steal some of the artists you have on there to have on our podcast. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey man, they got something to say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hell yeah, man. But we really appreciate you. Like I told you before, our goal here is to end up being friends by the end of it. You know, adding you to part of our family.
Thank
So
you.
anytime you need someone to shout something out or you're trying to promote something, just let us know, tag us on it. We'll definitely reshare.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
again, oh, go ahead.
uh, I was gonna say likewise, man. If you need anything, let me know. If there's anybody you want me to reach out to, if like you want to get somebody on here that I probably talk to or so whatever, and
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
let me know.
Hell yeah, man. We appreciate that. But this is super dope. I hope we get to grow our communities together as well and link up a lot more. Like I told you, and I've said it on this podcast before. This year we're coming for that best podcast of the year, so be
Ooh,
prepared because I'm gonna have my people run those numbers up.
okay, okay.
But no, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for what you're doing in the Latinx hip hop community. Thank you for showcasing all these dope ass artists that really need a platform. Thank you for being on here. This was a great podcast. And everyone that's listening, if you like what you heard, give us a thumbs up, 5-star review. Go follow Latinx Hip Hop on all social medias. This has been the Weekly D Podcast. I'm your host, DannyG. That's Mr. Latinx himself, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
Remember, if you can't get it daily, get it weekly. Peace.